Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stanosa and I'm joined by the magnificent Josh. I'm not even going to let him introduce himself this time, so whatever. Anyway, we're going to talk about... You be quiet, boy. We're going to talk about Reaper, because Reaper, is he actually dead? This isn't a lore video, ladies and gentlemen, either. This is a video of, like, what the hell is the point of Reaper? Because it dawned on me that Reaper's whole point is to kill tanks, although... he doesn't really do that very well unless he's in very specific scenarios. And then I thought to myself, when do I actually play Reaper? Now, there are two times in my head, well, examples I've got of when I actually select a Reaper. This is on Horizon, first point attack. I like to do the cheap, like, kind of cheesy thing of I come out the spawn door from the left, I teleport to the right-hand side, like, you know, through the sort of behind the walls, and then I run up the stairs and hope the enemy team isn't up there, because if they're not, then I can just suddenly get into the sort of the enemy, the meat of the team, and start deleting people as Reaper because they don't expect me to be there. The other time is if I'm on Temple of Anubis and I just want to, like, it's the second point, I'm on attack, I want to just maybe force my way. Maybe I'm playing something like, I don't know, a Widow or an Ashe or whatever, and I feel like it's not going too great because the enemy team might be a bit too tanky. Then I might get Reaper just because I want to get on the point and just try and do as much damage as possible. You actually made a really interesting point to me, didn't you, Josh, about Doomfist, which I guess I'll let you say now, because, yeah, this is probably the reason why you don't see
so
Reaper.
what is the point of Reaper? Well, Reaper does a huge amount of damage. He's very, like, I like you to use the term sticky, which is more of like a card game term, I suppose, but he's very sticky. He's very difficult to get rid of him. He's, like, got this life leech and he heals up during combat and all that kind of good stuff. So when he gets onto a point like Temple of Anubis, for example, he's great. He's very difficult to remove. He can dodge a lot of damage and ultimates by using Wraith Form. That's all amazing. And then this hero came along, which is basically well, I've already spoiled it, which is Reaper's bigger, older, scarier brother. It's literally his boss, right? Doomfist popped up and just came by and said, hi, yeah, I'm here now. He's just as sticky, blows up squishies even better, he's agile, he's mobile, and with the recent changes to the way he gets his barrier back, well, you can't remove him at all. His life leech is basically better than Reaper's, so as a result, Doomfist just sees way more play than Reaper. And what Style was saying at the start of, well, Reaper isn't actually that great at blowing up tanks. He can kind of do it, and if you, like, lock a tank into a one versus one, then Reaper's great, he's fantastic, he can just destroy people. But how often does that realistically happen? How often does that realistically occur when you could just play Doomfist and just press E on their backline, delete someone, get out completely scot-free, and it's just a better option? It's sort of the issue that Overwatch always runs into, right? Of, well, I could play Reaper, but I could play Doomfist, and I want to win, so I'm going to play Doomfist.
It's like Reaper's biggest issue is actually getting into the fight. If you get him into the fight, then he's okay. So he's actually had a buff. This is live now, and the dev comments on this is Reaper's specialty is fighting at very close range. So you would think, wouldn't you, ladies and gentlemen, they'd give him some sort of a tool to get into close range. However, this is what they say. The more consistent spread pattern and increase in healing from his passive ability will make him more capable of standing toe-to-toe with his enemies. So they increased, well, the spread randomization has been reduced by 50% on the Hellfire shotguns. The spread pattern has been adjusted as well. And the reaping, so the lifesteal, has been increased from 20 to 30%. So all of this together means Reaper, more consistent damage, more lifesteal, stays alive longer in a fight. However, in my head, the biggest issue he has is getting into the fight. In fact, I hate his teleport ability. I think it's one of the worst abilities in the game. And I know they looked at this a few patches ago, and they, what did they do to it? They made some changes to this.
They reduced the sound volume on it, I think.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, because it was really loud, wasn't it, before? Yeah. It's like, how many times have you been caught out by a Reaper behind you?
Yeah, it's something that used to happen a lot in the beta. Like, people used to try and do this all the time, where they, like, try and be sneaky Reapers and teleport behind the enemy. I'm so dastardly, I'll appear behind you. And then Defense Matrix, and then Zarya Bubble, and then they'd have to Wraith Form and just scamper away. And it turns out it's not an effective playstyle, right? Doesn't actually work with Reaper. The amount of times I've had to coach people on Reaper and who's, like, just try and do all this flanky stuff, and it's like, if you want to play a flanker, play Tracer, play Genji. They can do it. They have that agility. They can sort of sprint around and dash to the sidelines and survive out there, more crucially as well. They can recall, or Genji can dash away and find health packs. Reaper can just Wraith Form and sort of skedaddle back to his team. So it doesn't sort of work as a flanker. Reaper works very well when there's a death ball, but when you say like long fights, I think, oh well, 3-3 comps have very long fights. Triple tank, triple supports have very long fights, but then there's just so many barriers, defense matrix, so much healing, that damage doesn't actually translate into kills. You'd need so much damage to be able to get kills out of the back of that it just stops working. And so Doomfist can't do his job then.
I mean, I think Reaper's actually quite easy to kill. Like, his hitbox is stupid. It's like it's like a door coming towards you. It's like, oh, there's Reaper. So it's like you can easily smash him. And you know, I obviously played quite a bit of Reinhardt. There are times when I'll just fight Reaper. I'll be like, whatever, let's go. Like, the team's with me. I'm not on my own, obviously, because he would kill me then. But I'm like, hey, it's Reaper, so I just start smashing his brains out while he's shooting me. I'm getting healed. I've probably got defense matrix on me, and then he's dead. It's like, well, great. They may as well play Pharah or something if they just want to try and spam damage into people, because then at least it's safer. Or like you said, just play Doomfist because you're going to get the reward, right? Reaper, to me, smells a little bit like Soldier 76, where there are heroes in the game that are just replacing what he is supposed to do. They just do it better. And this is only going to get worse as more heroes keep coming out. Look at Ashe, right? Ashe is just better than Soldier. I'm just going to say it. She is just better than Soldier if you've got the aim. If you don't have the aim and you need that sort of easy entry into hit scan DPS where you can maybe disengage easier with Soldier and you've got your self heal, yeah, sure. But when you get to certain levels on the ladder, and I like to believe this is like Platinum and above, you're probably going to have a healer on your team. So they're going to be able to heal you if you're low. So why would you need the heal as Soldier, like, to keep yourself alive? This is like in a theoretical situation where you're looking to, you know, keep yourself alive because nobody's healing you and your team's terrible. I know, guys, you get terrible teams all over the ladder and whatnot. But Reaper seems to suffer from this. Like I said, the two examples where I picked the Reaper, I've played Doomfist in those examples, probably more as well, which is the stupid thing I haven't really realised. So, like, why the hell was I selecting Reaper? What was even making me select Reaper? I don't know.
Doomfist probably wasn't in the game.
Doomfist wasn't even selected. Yeah, so, no, he's probably selected. That's why he probably already had Doomfist. So, let's talk about his ultimate. Now, this is a bit meh. It's sort of... I don't know if this is fair to say. Yeah, I don't know if this is fair to say, but it's kind of like a... I rate it around Deadeye in terms of its usability, just because it's so easily countered.
It's so, like, there's so many things in the game that stop it just dead in its tracks. If they have a McCree or a Brig, you just get stunned. A barrier can block it, but there's ways that Death Blossom works that are very technical and in-depth that you can sort of use to get through a barrier. D.Va Defense Matrix just completely destroys it. You can just shoot the Reaper. If everyone just shoots the Reaper,
put him to sleep.
It's going to work. Sleep Dart. The thing with, like, just shooting him, it's probably going to work less now. He was already kind of survivable if, like, people just tried to counter it through sheer damage, because he got the reaping, of course, so he gets all that health back. He gets 20% of the damage done back. Now he's going to get 30% of the damage done back. So you're very unlikely probably to get through his self-healing unless he's sort of, you know, unless you burst him down somehow. So he's probably going to survive a little bit more. But it still doesn't feel like, you know, when the game first came out, I was like, oh my god, Reaper's so overpowered, this ultimate's insane. But as the game sort of developed, as people got better and better and better, it needs something. It needs something to make it work. It probably doesn't need Nano Boost in its old form, back when we had what was called the Beyblade meta, when Nano Boost gave you speed boost and you could just super speed Reaper just spinning his way through the enemy team.
Probably doesn't need that. Was pretty funny.
It was
pretty funny though. It was pretty funny.
But every fight was reduced to the same thing of, oh, they have Nano, they have Death Blossom, GG, they win because Reaper is just turbocharged, spinning through our team like a blender. Hopefully we don't go back to those days. Maybe he just needs a different ult. Maybe that's what he needs.
Does Reaper need a rework? This is the other thing. I think he Reaper. Like, I don't know why. All right, so we've got this whole thing, haven't we, with the fantasy of heroes. Reaper is like the Grim Reaper. Look at his name. He's the guy who kills you. He's got the bloody emo voice. He's the edgelord. Well, it's maybe not got the emo voice, but he's the edgelord. He's off. He's gonna like, I've come to kill you, blah, blah. But he's got a lot of lifesteal, so it's got this kind of vampiric aspect to him. Get in there, do damage, get lifesteal. But it still doesn't fix the problem of Reaper, or it doesn't really address what Reaper's weaknesses are. I don't think he actually needed more lifesteal. I don't think that was the fix for Reaper to make him more playable, to make him more usable. Yes, it does make him more usable because he's more survivable, but I just think his issue is getting into the fight. But here's the thing, right? If Reaper had a reliable way of getting into the fight, surely he would be ridiculous then.
Yeah,
I mean, because
so
he does
binary.
output a ton of damage.
He's so binary in his design, where if he's in, then he's amazing, and he's incredible, and he's the greatest hero known to man because he just does so much damage. So if you give him a reliable way to get in, well, GG. It's just Reapers all the way down, and you can't do anything about it. So maybe they need to solve that binary issue. When I say binary, I mean he exists in two states, effectively. You have the Reaper who isn't in, who's just sort of tickling them with a little bit of light shotgun spray from a distance, like a fine mist that's just being sort of sprayed on them. No problem there. Or he's in your face and he's just one-shot Zenyatta and he's just killing absolutely everybody, or he's getting stunned and killed or whatever. So it's like he's so binary in that design, and maybe they need to just push away from that, where he can't be so good in one scenario and so bad in every other scenario. And then with the way that the game development's been going and the depth of the game's increased, now he's bad in every situation because there's so many ways to deal with him when he does get in. If people are just paying attention and it's so obvious that this big refrigerator of a man is just inside your team, then you can deal with him, right?
Well,
so maybe that's the first place to fix it.
Well, this is the thing. Like, what do we do? How do we fix this hero? What do we like? Does he need a role reassignment in a way? Now the problem is he's got the shotguns. That is the hero. The hero is the dual shotguns. So he's always going to have to be good at close range. However, what about his other abilities? What about, I mean, in my head, his ultimate and probably his teleport need. Looking at Wraith form, I think that's fine as an ability because that's his, he's really slow. He doesn't have much movement when he's in the fight. That adds a bit of skill into Reaper play because you can use it to dodge enemy abilities. If you get pulse bombed, you pop that. If you're in a grav, you pop it. There's loads of things you can do for that. So I actually quite like that ability. However, teleport I don't like because I just think it's kind of silly because I don't know why Reaper would be teleporting around in a fight or even to get to a fight because the enemy team will probably see Reaper coming. It's not like it's like, haha, I'm behind you now. Sometimes, guys, I know Reaper might have done this in games. Like, I remember games where, for whatever reason, Reaper might have got behind us, then used Death Blossom, like, on our supports, and we didn't realize. Or the most effective way I've found for Death Blossom to get used is when he's sort of falling from a height. So if you're, like, I don't know, on Volskaya, and for whatever reason he gets around the back, and then he sort of drops down off the little kind of bridge at the back of the point while Death Blossom and whatever. As he's dropping down through the air, he can be a little bit more difficult to deal with, and he tends to get a bit more value. But he's got abilities that don't really complement each other. And when you look at modern heroes, or even heroes that have been reworked, they've got abilities that complement each other quite well. He doesn't seem to have much of a flow Reaper. It's like you said, he's either one or the other. It's you're doing nothing, or you're in the enemy team doing everything, and that's just not great.
It's like a checklist, if he's in position. The only thing that Shadow Step really gives you is like it's a good reset, basically. After the fight, you teleport up to where you want to be. You can sort of hang out in the rafters. Reaper's like a spider that's sort of living in, those sun blockers on a car where you sort of flip them down? He's like a spider in there. You flip it down and he lands on your lap and then you go, ah, and then disaster. Like that's what Reaper is. That's literally Reaper's Death Blossom ultimate at the moment. You just drop on people and you try and get a bunch of kills. You probably kill 2 people, get stunned, and then, oh well, you've already done your job, you've won the fight. Congratulations. Here's your medal, sir. Maybe, like, one idea that occurs to sort of floating around in my brain was if you press right mouse button, he fires both shotguns at the same time. And that's just slower. I mean, it will the only issue there is it'll like one-shot 200 hit point heroes.
Yeah, but then he kills Zen instantly.
But then he just kills Zen instantly anyway, right? You just hold left mouse button for a second longer, and Zen's dead anyway. So if he's got to that distance, then maybe he deserves the kill, right?
I don't know about that. That seems
it gives he needs a tool to deal with tanks.
Yeah, he should be able to throw his shotguns, like throw them.
He just opens his jacket and an avalanche of shotguns pours out of them. I don't know. Maybe he needs smoke grenades. Smoke grenades in the intro thing.
Cinematic, didn't he?
In the cinematic, yeah, he had smoke grenades.
What the? So
that'd be so cool.
Hang on. Reaper is he is the hero designed to kill tanks, but he is never used to kill tanks. What is going on there?
Well, he's never used to kill 3-3. That's the key.
Which is
he's not used to kill 3-3.
He's never used for
that.
You never see the pros using him.
Well,
why the pros using him?
I'm super interested in this topic. I watched a VOD review by the eminent Seagull as well, where he talked about this, and like Seagull didn't know why, but he's American, and Americans don't understand goats. So here's why people don't use Reaper and don't use Junkrat to counter goats. The answer is simple. Goats just outlast the Reaper, and then you just put a defense matrix on him, and then Reinhardt just clobbers him to death. Like, Reaper's only option at that point is to go into Wraith form and run, or try and dodge the defense matrix for as long as possible, in which case the D.Va just lets go of right mouse button and waits. Then he comes back out, defense matrix back on, and you just run over the Reaper. You just stun him with Brig and just kill him off the back of that. So tank comps are now so tanky and have so many tools to stop him doing damage that he just has no way of actually living long enough with his 250 hit points to actually survive doing that damage. Like, with 3-3, you've got a Brig there, you've got defense matrix, you've got Zarya bubbles, you've got Zarya's damage. Tanks are spitting out so much damage back to him that he just explodes and he just dies straight away.
What about this then? What about allowing Reaper to give himself like a overshield, but with the lifesteal? So if he's got, what is he, 250 health, Reaper? So is he 250? He is, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so imagine if he could like bulk himself up to 400 like Doomfist could when he's in a fight. Like, he just could overheal himself to 400 and it start decaying away.
I'd
What
say
about
you'd run into the problem where he's just super binary again. Like, maybe that will work against
Still
Goats
easily
comps,
stunned, yeah.
but he's also just like, that just makes him better at the stuff that he's already good at now, right? He's already good in fights where he can just get up to that 400 hit points and stay in and keep shooting stuff, but then he's just Doomfist 2.0 with less mobility. It doesn't solve the problem of, you know, he needs something that makes him a threat to tanks. Like, maybe he needs a form of Discorder, but then we're going towards the direction of debuffs being more prevalent in the game. People don't like being discorded, but maybe that's what he needs. Maybe he needs some way to deal percentage-based damage, to blow up tanks better, but not deal with supports and squishies better. That's the way a lot of sort of MOBAs deal with tank busters. You get champions or heroes that do percentage-based damage to larger, stronger targets. Maybe you can do something with that. Maybe they just need to change how armor works, or he can go through armor, but then you're bringing exceptions into the game, and so it gets more complicated.
Well,
so this is where I lean more
maybe-
towards like rework, maybe, like, or just look at his toolkit, give him a new ability instead of Shadow Step. He could turn it into smoke. He could fire smoke grenades. Smoke grenades would be amazing in Overwatch. That'd be
But
so
imagine
cool.
if he's fine how he is and he's just a legacy hero of Overwatch and that's just it. You know, he is effective in certain games. I think probably lower down the ladder, he's probably more effective. Much like Soldier is probably quite effective as well, lower down the ladder. So he does have a place in a way, but trying to balance him for every single tier of the game, I mean, that's always going to be impossible for most of the heroes on the roster, because we'll always see certain types of meta developing for each tier of the game, and of course at the pro level they have their own types of meta, which generally do trickle down to the ladder eventually. But is it really that much of an issue? And I think we'll end the video at that, ladies and gentlemen. Do you actually think Reaper... does he need
Give
anything?
Reaper
Like, is he
smoke
fine?
grenades. Give him smoke grenades. I want
Actually, yeah, it
smoke
would be
grenades.
funny.
It'll be so
It would
cool.
be annoying as hell. Smoke grenades would be annoying as hell. You just
that's
smoke it. Oh my god! Imagine it'd be like Counter Strike, man.
Yeah.
Imagine you're just running in. Oh, everywhere's smoked, lads. We can't see.
Yeah, you just shoot the smoke. and
Hanzo
then-
is still kill you. And on that
Yeah,
bombshell,
definitely.
ladies and gentlemen. I've been Stalos. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. Also, follow me on Instagram, which is instagram.com/Stylosa. And click the bell on the video because it will alert you when videos go live, which is lovely. And also subscribe if you haven't as well, which would be magnificent.
And you can find me as well. I don't have an Instagram because I don't post sexy pics like Sty does. I'm not that handsome. That's what Instagram's for. That's all I know what Instagram is used for. And posting pictures of your breakfast or your Starbucks or whatever. But I do have a Twitter @one_amongst many, and I also have a Twitch, so ESL_one_amongst many.
Beautiful. And on that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.
Give Reaper smokes.